Hey guys, welcome back to this week's vlog. In the last vlog, I did a whole thing about comparison. I was talking about comparison and how it's very, very unhealthy to live with that. But I felt like I only just scratched the surface. It felt like there was so much content to cover in one single vlog. So I've split it up into two different sections, and this is effectively a part 2 of how to deal with comparison. If you haven't watched the first episode yet, then you can do by hitting the link below, and I hope that it will be of some help to you and set up this week's vlog. Comparison is a killer. And someone once famously quoted that comparison is the thief of joy. I don't want to miss out on that joy, and so I've been thinking a lot about comparison and how personally I can process some of these areas of weakness. But as I personally started processing it, I realized there's loads of people that I talked to in the past, certainly in the world of artists and musicians, that comparison, it really is a big issue for a lot of us. So I'm going to be as honest and transparent as I can here, and I hope that some of it will help you. As I mentioned in my previous vlog, Comparison Part 1, there were a lot of words that were focused around stopping. But we all know that merely stopping something is not enough for us to move on in our lives. We also need to build new habits into our lives, and I hope that today some of these new habits that I share will be of help to us, and that we won't just merely stop some things, but we'll also be able to build some healthier habits into our lives so that comparison is really not something that we majorly struggle with. Now, of course, we're all going to focus on comparing ourselves with other people at some point in our life, and it will come and go. But I do believe if we can really focus in on some of these things, we can live happier and healthier lives. Of course, before we can do anything else, we need to recognize if we have a comparison problem. It can be blatantly obvious, like being super envious or jealous of somebody else and what they might have or what they might be doing or the opportunities they might get. Or it could be really subtle, where we feel this kind of inner annoyance that someone else is doing well in life. Maybe we don't feel like we're doing so well. Or even having this scarcity mindset where it's like, well, if they're doing well, then I can't do well. Why can't we all flourish in life? I'm personally very grateful for a couple of people in my life who call me out on these kind of things, particularly my wife. She is great at being able to say, hey, hang on a minute, you're spiraling, you're going down this rabbit warren of thoughts and it's not helpful, and you're saying the same thing over and over again, you're regurgitating all this stuff, you are comparing yourself to someone else, and you need to deal with that comparison problem again. Having somebody in my life call me out on it has helped me realize this is a problem, and this is something that I need to continuously work on. And perhaps if you struggle with some of these things as well, then maybe this is something for you. To really seek out someone in your life who you can be honest with and who can call these things out and say, hey, hang on a minute, you're better than this. So here are 3 more tips to help deal with comparison. But before I do, if you do like the content that I create, then please do subscribe to this channel, like the video, and consider joining me on Patreon as well. There'll be more details about that later in the video. Number 1, take stock of all the positives. I like to see this as taking an inventory. You know, you take an inventory if you are running a shop or a store, or even like me, a little merch page. You need to know exactly what products you've got. In the same way, emotionally, I think we need to take stock and be thankful for the things in our lives that we already have. When I look back over the last 3 years of my life, what are the things I can be truly thankful for? What has been good? What has been positive? What thing that didn't seem good at the time actually turned around for my benefit? And taking stock of those things on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis can really help us to be thankful and to have this kind of gratitude attitude that is positive and looking for the best in life. I realize when I take stock at the end of the day, be thankful for the small things in my life, it helps me to remember the precious moment and to kind of balance the scales of negativity and positivity and kind of see things for what they actually are. Often there are far more positives that happen in our days than what we really give credit for. But because it's so easy to focus on the negative, we can forget about them. Naming the things that you're thankful for gives them extra value, and you end up kind of looking for them in your life a little bit more and seeing them in the moment, and therefore being able to enjoy them far more. When we're focused on the moment and we're looking at what's going well in our lives, suddenly we don't need to focus so much on other people and what might be going on well with them but not for us. The habit of being thankful has helped me enormously to be able to celebrate the small things in life and actually to see them as more valuable than maybe I would do if I wasn't thankful. Number 2, enjoy working hard for something. You know, entitlement is really ugly, and unfortunately for me as a millennial, it's something that I think our kind of generation does struggle with. Of course, we all want to see good things happen in our lives, but feeling that sense of entitlement all the time can really drag us down into blaming others, and at worst, it makes us like a repellent to other people. What may have taken our parents most of their working life to achieve, we want to see it happen in 2 or 3 years. Whenever I get into this headspace, I forget the joy that comes from the grit gritty determination of pushing through and getting something finished. And that might be something really small and insignificant to other people, but for you it's been a big challenge to get to that stage. When you study for something and you receive the grade, when you've worked so hard on your business and you're actually starting to see a profit, there's incredible joy in the determination and the grit of life. I was listening to a sports podcast a while back about two of England's best cricketers who are now heading towards the end of their careers. They were in their mid to late 30s and they were asked, why do they keep going? Why do they keep running into bowl balls? And the guys talked about the pleasure of pain. They spoke about how their bodies were daily in pain, but when they played a match and they'd given it their all and their best, even if they didn't win, there was pleasure waking up the next day in pain. And they kind of said they would miss that pain if they stopped playing. I found that fascinating, and I guess like in life we all have pain, but it's what we do with it. And maybe sometimes we have to really push through something to get to where we want to go. I believe sometimes that pain can feel good because it's that gritty determination that's helped us to press on and actually achieve something worthwhile in life. Finally, number 3, celebrate others. How do you really feel when you see somebody else do well and get credited for something? It's kind of easier to celebrate someone who gets credited in a field that you're not competing in. But how do you feel if it's somebody who is in the same space as you and maybe they are promoted above you, or perhaps get something that you really want? There's something on my personal social timelines which I see come up fairly frequently at the moment, and something for me that I've struggled to achieve in my life. And there are moments when I look at these images and these pictures and I think, oh man, I wish that was me. Wish I could do that. And I'm not gonna lie, part of it hurt. But I've tried over time to really celebrate those moments for those other people by always liking the post and leaving a comment of congrats, and just being in a headspace of I'm choosing to celebrate something that's wonderful for you. I'm not perfect and I still feel the pain of some of this stuff, but by choosing to celebrate others, there's this inner weight that leaves our minds, sometimes temporarily, sometimes for longer. There are days when we feel personally very raw over something that means something to us or something we desire that we don't ever think will happen. But by opening up our hearts and being kind and celebrating the other person, I'm convinced that when I celebrate others, I become a better person myself. I'm also convinced that when I don't, and when I kind of resent what they have, I fall into this trap of loneliness, of self-obsession, and I become a worse person for it. And so my challenge for you today, as it is for myself, is how can you celebrate people better? So there are 3 more tips on how to deal with comparison. My part 2, if you haven't seen the first vlog, then go ahead, have a look at that as well. And I hope that some of these tips between these 2 vlogs actually do make a difference in your life. I hope you don't mind me opening up a little bit to you guys and sharing some stuff that's going on in my heart and my mind at the moment, and I hope that in some way they will help you. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and hit the like button if you like what you're watching. And of course, I am on Patreon, which means that I am creating content for people who subscribe to my Patreon page. It's a way for me to give more to my fans and followers who love the music that I'm creating and the content that I'm making. So if you're interested in that and want to find out more, hit the link below, patreon.com/onepyramidpart, and you'll get a load of information about different tiers that you can get involved in. It really makes a difference to me as an artist as well, and I know my patrons love the content and particularly unreleased music that I'm sending out to them way ahead of time. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to sharing more with you soon.